My gosh, I cannot believe we went an entire pull episode in a ecchi comedy series without a single wardrobe malfunction. I was just waiting for it, and by the time the episode ended, I'm like, really? We're not going to do that? That's super crazy. I don't know if the writer intentionally did that to subvert expectations and just remove it completely, but really fantastic episode. Obviously, some really cute stuff around Shizuka. And yes, continuously kind of trying to develop Karane's character, which I'm surprised how much time they're spending on her versus other characters. But I still feel like especially with Hikari, we're actually getting a lot of development with her as well, in seeing how well she kind of bounces off of Nano. I think that was like, if you asked me beforehand who would work well together, like who would have the best chemistry, Nano and Hikari was like the last person I could think about. And yes, it's a lot of that to do with the fact that Hikari is very internalizing her etchiness. She internalizes her lewdness, and it really feels like Nano is the perfect one to really pull that out of her. I think literally Nano pulls it out of Hikari, and Hikari pulls it out of Kanane, and Shizuka's just in the middle. Shizuka's just sitting there in the middle. But yeah, fantastic episode. Honestly, I think one of the other biggest shocks of this episode is really kind of having some of the characters in outfits that I wasn't really expecting. Obviously, with a lot of these pull episodes, yes, a lot of the tropes are in who wears what. Depending on their archetypes, they will wear a specific type of outfit, which is honestly a little bit disappointing, like not getting something different than usual. Typically with the petite characters, they always either have their school outfit or they'll have, something like a one piece with a lot of frill on it. Sure enough, Shizuka wears that. And you have, yes, the more feminine one, which would be Nano. Yes, of course, she's going to wear the string thing, which honestly wasn't like all the way like I thought it was going to be. It's a two-piece. She could have gone the whole direction with the big, massive, V-shape bikini, but everybody else kind of wore what I thought they would wear. I think the only one that was kind of a little bit surprised was Kanade. I wasn't really figuring that she would have that cute of an outfit, but that technically plays into the story they're telling there. They're trying to show how Kanade feels like she can't be pretty. She can't be cute, especially. But yeah, jumping into the episode, obviously we have three different perspectives. Unfortunately, there's a third perspective, and that is Shizuka. Let's start with Shizuka. Super cute. I feel so bad. She must be protected. But yes, the idea that Shizuka can't swim. I mean, she puts it into words, but it's in her book. What did she say? She's not set for sea battle or something like that. Whatever phrase she can get from her book. And yes, that turns into her basically just being on a floaty the whole time and nobody paying attention to her. I have to say, I think this is going to be the first time I'm going to massively criticize Rentaro. You should have been watching her. She said she can't swim, and you literally let her out of your sight. Yes, technically you had some massaging, some pre-swimming massaging that you had to go through, but you had to keep an eye on her. She can't swim. You just let her. I like how the first statement is, wait, Shizuka, why are you spinning? I can't, I don't know. I am stuck in an endless loop or something like that. She just kind of just trails off in the whirlpool. And again, super mad that he didn't keep an eye on her. She just kind of gets left alone. Like everything's happening over here and she's just left alone. Just going through the crowds, slowly spinning, constantly yelling out, somebody help me, somebody help me, somebody help me. But yeah, then the shipwreck, the stranded Shizuka, she gets stranded on the center island. I feel so bad. See, somebody help me. Somebody runs out of battery just sitting there asking for help. But it was cute. I think the ending of it was super sweet. Technically, finally, we get our first point in which Shizuka calls out. She finally used her own voice. And it was kind of cute in the idea that it kind of plays into the idea that she's doesn't feel like she can get it out enough. Like she can't speak up loud enough. He's not going to hear me. But of course, because Rentaro is Rentaro, he's got heightened senses. He's got the Shizuka ear ready for her. This little hey, and it just picks up at his ear and he immediately sees where she's at, like honed in, located, like sonar goes off and he knows exactly where she's at. It was super cute. And then going over there, picking her up, princess carrying her, getting a little bold in the middle of like public. It was super cute. I adored every moment with Shizuka in this episode. It was just way too cute and I felt super bad. But yes, the second perspective is Hikari and Nano. Now this of course is what I was talking about earlier. It's a really great way that the two of them kind of play off each other. One side of this is that Hikari, again, internalizes her lewdness. She is, in her head, she's craving something. She wants to do something crazy. And Nano is the type that doesn't like to meddle with all the inner steps. Like, I want to go from A, if I want to get to Z, I'm just going to skip to there. Don't go through all this other stuff. Everybody else, yes, of course, they're going to go through the steps that typically you do. You're going to do this. You're going to ask this. You're going to do this. You got to play into it. There's a step-by-step process. She's just like, okay, well, I want that. Like, I'm just going to go for that. Hakkane's over here going, oh, yeah, oh, oops. Nana's like, let's just do this. Let me just go straight for the goal, which, again, just kind of drags Hyakkano out of that. And so she wants it, too. It was super funny. But, yeah, of course, that goes into him passing out. Apparently, him being without oxygen for, like, 20 minutes, which he probably would have been dead, but it's a comedy. We're not going to overthink the fact that he literally could not breathe and he wasn't getting oxygen to his brain for several minutes. But I think he was just playing possum. But no, I would expect that Nana would know that. I would expect that Nana would know if he's breathing or not, know how to check it. She's checking a pulse, so I'm assuming that she could check if he's breathing. But yeah, that turns into them all kissing him and then seeking out specifically a male to do CPR. Specifically, a male. I like how Nana follows that up. Yes, a male. And then they end up running into some bad guys. My gosh, that one guy was special. That one guy was special. He wants to grab him. And the shoulders are just as soft. He wants to grab the shoulders. And he was told one time that if you stick your hand out a window, it's the same sensation. I've never heard that. If somebody would have to tell me in the comments if they've ever heard that before. I have never heard that before. But that guy's special. But yeah, that turned into them. I like the scene because I really like there's two aspects to this. One is the fact that, yes, this does technically do the same thing that they did with Shizuka, which, yes, is... I hope they don't keep repeating this. But yes, it seems like with every character that's introduced to the harem now, they're going to have to go to the sequence where they're going, I'm essentially staying in my point in line. Like, I'm letting you guys go first. I'm letting you have priority because I'm not as special to him. And then the other characters have to tell him, no, you're a part of this. Nano is sacrificing herself, and she's saying it because Hyakkano is more important to Rentaro because they've been together longer. And so it's Hyakkano telling her, no, he'd be upset for you too. You're just as important. Again, the same thing we did with Shizuka, which is a little bit annoying, but at the same time, it's okay. But the part in this that I really like is the fact of how protective Nano is. I love how protective she is. And yes, part of that is playing off that earlier statement, is the idea that she's protecting Hyakkano because Hyakkano is more important to Rentaro, but she's protecting somebody. I'm curious if Nana will be our protector. Like, she is the one that protects all these girls. Now, granted, Kanane, I could see her dropping some kicks. She did some kicks already in this episode, but yeah, I could see Nano being sort of the protective type. But no, Rentaro shows up and pretty much tells them that they're both my girlfriend. They don't believe it. Kisses both of them. That was probably a hit to their morale a lot. And then they all return. But yes, the final and bigger part of this episode, obviously, because I am a Kanane fan, is Kanane. And again, I was kind of surprised to see that we now have had 2 episodes. See, like I said before, there's like an introductory episode, and there's a kind of settle down episode. But it seemed like every single one of those episodes where they're settling down, we get more development in Kanane. Like with the whole situation with Shizuka, it was literally her learning to open up. And it seems like this is another case where she doesn't feel as pretty as the other. She feels less than them because she doesn't have either a voluptuous body or she doesn't have that petite cuteness that Shizuka has. And that seems to be affecting her self-confidence. So she doesn't want to reveal herself when she gets to the pool, which was kind of annoying because, like, by the end of the episode, I'm like, are we literally not going to have any of Kanane in this entire episode? She's going to be off the side the whole time. But no, she eventually sees the situation and rushes over, tells Rentaro that they're in trouble. He immediately wakes up and runs off. And then, yes, he gets her off to the side and says, yeah, I've noticed that you look like you're lacking confidence. You're comparing yourself to others. And that's not right. Well, I'm not as cute as Shizuka, so being small doesn't work. And I'm not big and voluptuous like them. It was kind of interesting to see that Rentaro is very truthful to her in the idea that, look, Hyakkano and Nano, they're like a special case. Like, this is, what you have and what Shizuka has is technically normal. It's almost like the writer's going, yeah, that's just how we drew them. That's not normal. A girl their age being that big, no, that's not normal. You're normal. It's kind of, it seems like almost like a jab at the artists themselves and what they've decided to make the character designs as, is that's not normal. But it was cute though, just kind of pushing her to kind of show off, and then yes, pointing out how cute she looks, and yes, I agree, perfect. It was super cute, her getting all upset and then asking why he's got that stone face, and then eventually the hug and everything. It was super cute. I like it. It was a fun little episode. Like I said, I'm kind of surprised they didn't play off of quite a few of the tropes that you typically get from the pull episodes, but they sort of hit most of them. We hit the CPR joke, we hit the one that can't swim, we hit the outfits themselves and some of them not being as confident as others. All those kind of things are hit. Surprised that the wardrobe malfunction was not one of them, but it was still a fun little episode. I think the most unique thing they did in the episode was definitely Shizuka, her getting stranded on the center island of the whirlpool. That was super cute. Her just kind of just whirling around and trying to call for help. I think that was like the most unique thing they kind of put in this episode. But yes, I was super shocked. I don't know. I might have to go back and double check it. Again, my prediction was because they've indicated there is 5 girls going to be in this core, this season of the series, because they have 5 girls in the OP. They have the 5 girls in all the key art and everything. I would assume that Kusuri, who's the last one to be introduced, the little scientist girl, I assume that she was going to be in the background. I might double check. That red hair she has is very unique and probably would have stood out, but I want to double check it, make sure, to see if it's there. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on episode 6. Hopefully, maybe episode 7 we get Kusuri, but we'll have to see. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment. Let me know what's thought of the episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button so you got my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate what it does, and y'all take care.